Hello class, so in this video we'll be learning about the strategies in tech utilized for successful e-commerce and m-commerce. So the contents for this video is the strategies for a successful e-commerce and m-commerce, technology infrastructure required to support e-commerce and m-commerce. Yeah, so the strategies for a successful e-commerce and m-commerce. So companies must develop effective websites that include the following characteristics. First is easy to use. It accomplishes the goals of the company, safe and secure, and it is affordable to set up and maintain. So defining an effective e-commerce model strategy. So the first major challenge for a successful e-commerce site is to decide on the effective e-commerce model it wants to use. So there are three components of a successful model. So that is community, content, and commerce. So for the contents, like is industry news, economic news, so is it trending key, stock prices, the commerce, so are the how is the consumer power, so the supply and demand the key, and the community, so discussion forums and shopping tools. So one good example about this is sneakers, okay? So So there's always news about sneakers, whether it is hype sneakers, usually the hype sneakers like in Adidas, there's Yeezys, and there's Jordan's key. So there's always news and releases, okay, in the pricing and the retail price, the resale price. So for the community, it's always being discussed on Facebook groups and forums about the releases and how are you able to cop those sneakers. And for the commerce, so consumers would really buy that one. And businesses, especially Nike or Adidas, they're trying to limit a certain stock of the sneaker to limit its price, okay? So they're the ones driving the resale market too, okay? So yeah, supply and demand. So to define the function of your website, so first you must decide which tasks the site must accomplish. So it also create an attractive presence for the company. So we need to have the branding. Okay, so branding. So next is it meets needs of its visitors. So for example, like obtain information about the organization and its products. Okay, so let's say we have a sneaker website. So you can easily browse the different brands of sneakers, or Jordan, Nike, Adidas, and more. Next is redefine the site's basic business models needed to capture new opportunities. So there are website hosting companies. So they allow you to set up web page and conduct e-commerce within a matter of days. And you can also have little upfront cost because they're gonna do everything for you. Okay. So there are a lot of hosting companies nowadays like GoDaddy, Bluehost, etc. So next is Stockfront Storefront Broker. So it's basically a company that acts as an intermediary between your website and online merchants who have the products and retail expertise. So building traffic to our website. So is measured to attract customers. So basically, we need to obtain and register a domain name that is catchy and easy to remember, and it's also similar to our business name. So we must also make our website search engine friendly. So that's why we have SEO, as you can check about that. This stands for search engine optimization. So we must also include a meta tag in your site's homepage. We can also use website traffic data analysis software. So Google had that one. So yes, you can. There's also plugins for that. Let's say we want WordPress. So we also have provide quality and keyword rich content. So We need to invest with a writer for that for our website. So we need also to add new content to the website on a regular basis, okay, so that the site won't be stagnant. And whenever we have new content, so it attracts uh, people to your website because we have a new content, okay? So lastly is acquire links to your site from other website. So personalization is just a process of tailoring web pages to specifically target individual consumers. So there are two types of personalization techniques to capture data and build customer profiles. So first is implicit personalization. So it captures data from customer web sessions. And explicit personalization captures user provided information. So about this one, consumer web session, so you'll learn more about this when you have your, I think, web development class. Okay, so it's just basically the data in the sessions, let's say the username or something like that. Username, so that can be used as a session. Okay, username or maybe its full name. Okay, so explicit personalization. So let's say there's a form where a website asks a user for its information. So yeah, that's just it. So technology infrastructure required to support e-commerce and m-commerce. So poor website performance drives consumers to abandon some e-commerce sites in favor of those with better and more reliable performance. So that's the reality. Okay. So uh, that's why we need to optimize the website that it is light enough. So whenever you have internet troubles, then you can still access the website. So what we can do about that is by shrinking a bit the photos. So uh, we must put the correct size of the photos. Let's say in the banners of a website, because usually when you have photos, they are usually in high resolution. So yeah, we need just need to adjust its quality, okay, for better performance. That's just one reason. So and also you can also limit the effects, unnecessary effects or animations for the website. Okay, so that also those things may also lead to the website to have more assets, and let's say there are computers with less RAM. So those features actually eat more RAM. Okay, so if it is encountered on or a device that has a little RAM, then it will cause a lot of trouble. Hardware. So it's basically the web server is just a computer too. So the web server's required storage capacity and computing power depend on the software that was run on the server. Okay. So whether it's just a marketing website or let's say it's just a marketing website. So marketing website doesn't really consume that much of storage uh, uh, unless for the content or something like that content or assets. Okay. So the volume of e-commerce transactions must be processed. So let's say we have a web system, so we need to consider the amount of data that's coming in and out of our website at the same time, or the volume of people coming to the website at the same one at a time. So that's why one example is a Cebu Pacific. Whenever there are promos, so it causes the website to go down, something like that. So that must be fixed. So successful e-commerce solutions are designed to be highly scalable. So it can be upgraded to meet unexpected user traffic. So yeah. So one example could be a somewhat a queuing system for a website. So let's say a website has a specific number of users that access it at a certain time, and let's say that there's 100 and there are 50 people, so the 150 people, so those excess 50 people must queue. Okay, so that's one example for it. Okay, so these are the key website performance measures. So first is response time, transaction success rate, and system availability. Okay, so let's discuss each. So what is response time? So response time is a time that takes your website, okay? It, so it refers to the time it takes for an inquiry from a user to receive a response from the server, okay? So again, it refers to the time it takes for an inquiry from a user to receive a response from a server. So that is the response time. So next is the transaction success rate. So transaction success rate is calculated by dividing the total number of successful transactions by the total of attempted transactions over a given period. So let's say you have ran 100 transactions and 93 were successful, then your transaction success rate would be 0.93 or 93%. Okay. So website availability is just also called website uptime. So it refers to the ability of the users to access and use a website. So a website's availability is typically communicated as a percentage for a given span of time. So it is a key decision for a new e-commerce company. So it's also choosing whether to host its own website or to enlist a third-party web service provider. So third-party web service provider does include GoDaddy, Bluehost, yeah, DigitalOcean, Amazon Web Services, and more. So these are the performance measures for some popular retail websites. Okay, is web server software. So fundamental services are needed in web server software. So first is the security identification, retrieving and sending web pages, website tracking, website development, and web page development. So we can do this with a web server OS. So one example is Ubuntu Server, Windows Server, CentOS. So those are the OSs for the servers. So e-commerce software. So the five core tasks that must be supported by e-commerce software is the catalog management, product configuration, shopping cart facilities, e-commerce transaction processing, and web traffic data analysis. So mobile commerce and hardware and software. So there are limitations of handheld devices that complicate their use. So first is that the screens may be small. The screens are small. Okay. But though nowadays the screens for the devices are going bigger and bigger, especially for smartphones. And also, we already have tablets now. Okay. So, input capabilities are limited to a few buttons. Okay. So, usually, people that may have trouble here are usually the elderly ones. Okay. Or the people not really into gadgets. Okay. So, less processing power and less bandwidth than desktop or laptop computers. Okay. So, though mobile devices are more powerful now, so it's still far compared to a desktop or a laptop. So it is operated on limited life batteries. Okay. So for these reasons, web developers must often rewrite web applications so users with mobile devices can access them. So what's good about web development or web design now is that using Bootstrap, so you can check about that. So when you use Bootstrap, the user interface will already shrink automatically, whether you're in a big device or in a small device. So it is now easier to use on multiple platforms because of the advancement too of web development. So now let's go to electric payment systems. So it's just basically authentication technologies that are used by many organizations to confirm the identity of a user requesting access to information or assets. So digital certificates. So this is just an attachment to an email message or data embedded in the website that verifies the identity of a sender website. Certificate Authority is a trusted third-party organization or company that issues digital certificates. So there are also measures that are being implemented to increase the security with the use of credit cards. So first is the address verification system. Okay, this is basically compares the address on file with the address provided by the cardholder, and also is the card verification number. So it's just a check of additional digits typically printed on the back of the card. So it could be 3 digits or 4 digits. So you must not give that one to anyone whenever you have credit cards or debit cards soon. So those are sensitive data. So the transport layer security system is a communications protocol used to secure sensitive data during e-commerce. So electronic cash, so it's just an amount of money that is computerized, stored, and used as cash for e-commerce transactions. So credit, charge, debit, and smart cards are payment systems used for e-commerce. So you can just check that one. Okay. So EP card or procurement card or purchasing card is just a credit card used to streamline the traditional process order invoice payment processes. So it is typically issued to selected employees who must follow company rules and regulations. And spending activity is reviewed periodically by someone independent of the cardholder. Okay, so guess that's it. So Uh, those are the strategies and tech utilities for successful e-commerce and m-commerce. So, thank you for watching. So, I hope you learned a lot in this video. So, if there are more concerns or clarifications, just chat on Discord or send me an email. Thank you.